if I understand correctly, your basic thesis is there is much more into natural structures than we normally think of it. We only, between inverted commas, have to understand it, explore it, understand it, see it in its connections, frame it, and then use it in terms of a device for identity making or something like that.
We have to see it. We have to learn. We have to learn to see it.
Yeah.
But it looks normal now, but it took us 3 years, of course, because in that it takes time to get to the minimal thing that you should do in landscape, I think.
Yeah. So if you take that to our challenge, which is the EU region, that would imply, I guess, but you haven't related yourself yet to the EU region, but it would imply making a deep analysis of the natural structure of the EU region. How is nature, the deeper layers of nature, the water systems, etc., how is that organized, and is it perhaps possible to use that and a sort of vernacular infrastructure that came out of that as a frame to find a new identity?
But it's not nature. It's a reading on all levels, build space, infrastructure, because it's about creating a landscape which is a mental construction that also has a physical reality, but is before that a mental construction.
Yeah. Frank, would you like to respond on this? Do you see a commonality with the way in which you use the landscape of the Ruhrgebiet? Or is this a different approach to how you involve the physical environment in that process of identity making?
Yeah, on the one side it's similar, making cartography, searching for the lines, the rivers, the creeks that are combining, that could work as combining lines. For me, it isn't quite clear. Maybe you can give some remarks on that, because you emphasized that it's not nature, that it's constructed, that it's more a mental landscape. So what's the way you are going further with these little rivers now? What's the way? How will you show that they are landscapes?
Because of course I'm showing you in very limited slides the kind of overall idea. But right now we're looking at the existing parks around these rivers that are closed off parks. You have the Leopold Park in honor of the former king. You have the communal park. You have a kind of little pearls around this river, but it's not seen as a continuity. And the idea is to talk to the different levels of authority and make them understand the possibility of a continuous park, radically changing the identity of such a park. Because, for example, for the Molenbeek, we would have a continuity of 6 kilometers, which is about the same length as Central Park. And so suddenly, instead of having a very locally used park, you would create a destination, just like Central Park or Hyde Park or the parks in Paris would be. So it's about reading the
So you put them all together in a new system? Or is every little river its own system with its own program? And how do they play together? Yeah,
we're not that far yet. Mm-hmm. The idea was already to show to our clients, which is the political level of the region, to show that they could create 8 parks, and then of course we should keep what's good. We should. For me, in the first instance, it's really about showing the possibility of creating 8 parks. Because Brussels, they're saying like, there's going to be a demographic boom. They're expecting 200,000 new people in the coming 20 years, and they're panicking. And we're trying to tell them like, actually, you could create this park system, which also would allow development around it, while creating a better living conditions. So it's not the design will come afterwards. I don't care right now if it's one continuous park or it's different atmospheres, but it's about the possibility of having a different view on the territory.
Okay. Rick, you as a person involved in making culture. Yeah. Culture is a human-produced sort of
Yeah,
product.
it's. I mean, it's very difficult, I think, to say something intelligent about what about what you just said, because it was already very intelligent. I think it's very interesting the way you. It was almost very poetic to me, because it's like listening to a good poem. You know, I feel like I understand. You know, I understand very well what you're on about, what you're talking about. But as with a good poem, you understand it, but you don't really know why you understood it. But you know that you understood it. You know what I'm saying? And this is the feeling I have after listening to you. I feel there's a lot in common. Once again, I find it very good that the connection between the artistic side and the architectural, scientific side, if you will, doesn't really play a big role with what you're doing. You're accepting the fact that it's two sides of the same coin, which I think is very interesting. I liked your opening thing, your thing with Oscar Wilde. That's also one of my favorite images as well, because I would also say that what we're talking about, also with 2018 and with this whole regional identity thing, is what we're trying to basically do is to paint the mist. You know, give a name to what's already there. You know, so I think that's quite interesting. But what I find what excites me and gets me thinking here, and gives me, I would like to, if we had a lot of time, probably try to talk about it with you, is the fact that when you go way up high into the air, you know, you seem to be drawing a lot of your inspiration from the abstract. You know, you're pulling away. And first of all, the images, you know, that are inspiring you. You know, the inspiration. It seems to me that what you're saying is the inspiration is coming first on a very, very abstract level, on an artistic level. You know, on a level of images, and shadows, and contours. You know, and paintings and things. And then you're drawing closer, and little by little, and picking out the things that you want to work on, which I think is shown a different way of approaching it than your predecessor was talking about. But on an artistic level, something that I seem to understand, but I think it would be very difficult for me to find the perfect words to say why I understand it. But I'm following the process, I think, on an instinctual level. Is it anything I'm saying making sense? Making sense to you?
Especially because I work both with architects, artists, and scientific people. And good scientists, for me, are quite similar to artists. Because good scientists show you a reality that you haven't seen. And for example, in London, in a courtyard, just type OK. That's the cloud. In London, in a courtyard, we measured the temperature, the humidity, and the sunlight, because it was in Westminster City, in a very nice area, but very difficult situation to make a garden, 8 by 4 meters. And through this scientific approach, we discovered that the climatic conditions have nothing to do with London, but because the buildings give shadow, because there's a kind of humidity because of the sunken level, and there's a kind of heat loss in winter, which makes that it never freezes in that particular courtyard in London. Suddenly, the climatic conditions are similar to a sub-austral forest, and we were able to plant trees that you would never be able to plant in London, which are perfectly at ease in those climatic conditions. So in that way, a scientific approach makes you see something that you didn't see before, just like an artist would do. And
so it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. I've been involved I made a movie set for an artistic movie made by Philippe Parreno, which is a very interesting discussion, because normally I would make images that would become reality, because we actually do build public space. Even if I show you abstract pictures, we make parking lots, a lot of parking lots in Flanders. They need parking lots. So normally I would make images to create a reality. And in the movie, and it was for me, it was very interesting. You would make a reality to make an image, because nobody cares about the set. The only thing that matters is the image. So in that way, there's a kind of continuous collaboration with both scientists, architects, they're a bit on the same page, and artists to always try to see things in a different way.
But it's also connected close, you don't see them.
And the
Thank
difficulty
you.
is to stop at the right frame. Because
Yeah.
if you pull away too far, you don't see it anymore. And it's for me, it's a kind of game I do when I do new projects. I Google
Yeah.
Earth, just the whole time. And no, yeah, this is it. And then we take that one. And you stop when you feel the natural forces organizing the lab.
Yeah.
This is quite interesting, shown by your work. This is quite a creative process. It's not the way you are mapping. Yeah, it's not just abbilden. It's not just you're not working like a scientist who's only analyzing, but with your mapping, you're working more like maybe like an artist. Yeah, and things are merging. It's not the painter that paints picture and the scientist who makes maps, but this is quite a creative way of mapping and could be an interesting approach for the Euregion as well. In making it in a creative way, making the maps with quite an individual perspective. Yeah, just zooming on the scale that you found by yourself. This fits to the problems, or this gives you a certain shape of the problem, and this I think this is merging at the moment. The purposes of cartography, of mapping, they're going to be more creative because we have more tools for that, and quite interesting.
I would like to, because of time, and I would like to involve there was a question from the audience. There is a microphone. You can use that one. Yes.
Yes, I want to make a remark on our Euregional landscape. You shouldn't forget that it is all seen in a national context. So take the Drie Landen point. The Netherlands people like it very much because it's the highest point of the Netherlands. For the German people it means nothing, but they have other landscapes in relation to that. So you should have in mind that the national systems are very, very strong, and even the media. So how we look at our landscape is involved from other systems. I like it very much here in this region. The people from Aachen likes to go to the sea, but the people from Herlen likes to go to Eifel. Yeah, but they are living 15 kilometers apart from each other.
So there is a deep physical structure, which you might explore. You even might explore the sort of vernacular system which comes out of that deep physical structure. But how do you get to the cultural level? How do you get to the level of interpretation? How do you get to the level of the different types of use of that physical infrastructure? That's, I think, one of the questions. Yeah, there is. You could have the same physical reality, Vaalserberg, which is evaluated totally different, approaching it from the east or from the west.
But I don't think that's excluded from what he's doing. But what he's talking about, I think, is more the process. He's caught up more in the process, not with the physical end result. And what you're doing, I think, is more. This is where I see a connection to a lot of what we're doing. I would say it's more mind mapping, in a sense too. Rather than the.
If you give me an hour, I can go until the detail of the border stone holding back the gravel in the parking space. But so I wanted to focus on the kind of basic idea of a landscape. And all those things, and the use, and they are all very important as well. But I think this first step is for me is the most important step to imagine a new landscape. Otherwise, we always make the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to add one thing to science, because I'm extremely interested in science, and very disturbed by the M theory. So I don't know if you know the M theory, and it's the latest development with the Lehman experiments, in which they say that, you must notice that the fact that you observe an experiment influences the experiment. Because but it's very disturbing, of course. And so
but that could be the same could be the case when you take the vernacular into a frame.
But that's why I accept that I don't call this, I never speak about analysis, always about a reading.
Yeah.
Because of course the way we read it is we change it, of course, but that's the whole point.
Yeah.
But
May I
Good.
add
Well,
something?
could you keep your question to the general discussion because of time reasons, Alp?
I would
Will you
like
try-
to. I would
Say
like
yes, say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bas. Thank you for your contribution.
There's a.